Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are the brand new Pokemon games we'll be getting later this year, and the reception has been extremely interesting. Most of the digs are going to be at the graphical style, which for the most part I think looks fine. Now, I've never been extremely impressed with Pokemon graphics, but I've never been too disappointed. I think they're always just fine. And for the most part, the games have always kind of gotten a pass because they've been on mobile for the longest time, or at least handheld consoles. But it's not until they came to the Switch, a handheld home console hybrid, although mostly a home console, that a lot of the criticisms have started to come out, because it seems like while all of these types of graphics passed on handheld consoles, now that they're on the main home console games, they could possibly be looking better. And for the most part, my thoughts have been like, they could look better, they should, and I would like it, but honestly, it's Pokemon. Now, the main thing with Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is that they've decided to go with these Chibi style look that is definitely mirroring the original games. It basically looks like the original games redone in 3D. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that looks pretty good. They say specifically during the Pokemon Presents that the scale has been carefully preserved. And yeah, that's basically what's going on here. Now, the battles are still basically the new style. They look a lot like Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee in terms of the style of them. And I think everything looks fine, because for the most part, that's basically what Pokemon has been, again, since the very beginning. You've had your full-on representations of these characters, and you've had the overworld smaller versions. But during battles, you're using the full-on representations. And so, while these games, just in terms of the overworld, are going to be looking like this, with the memeified Chibi Dawn, during battles, of course, we're going to have this, like, the full-on characters, and I definitely think that there are going to be some cutscenes, because, you know, for the most part, why wouldn't there be? We've had cutscenes for a while, and especially if we're going to have the important story moments of the original Diamond and Pearl, but just kind of redone in sort of a 3D-ish style. I mean, I would definitely expect there to be some rendered cutscenes, hopefully, you know, which we've had in Sword and Shield and other games. But I think for the most part, these games look fine. But for one thing, you know, a lot of the criticisms I've seen, definitely I kind of agree with. For one thing, outlines could definitely be added to make things look a little better, or maybe better cell shading everything. Because, you know, for one reason or another, I feel like Pokemon sometimes is just afraid of outlines. Now, they've been in the other games, like the older ones, of course, on the 3DS, just because you kind of need that to better see things. But now that they're on home consoles and potentially bigger screens, you don't necessarily need it. You know, with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, while it looks nice, I think outlines might have helped, and especially for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. And of course, you know, that could work out, that could be fine, but also maybe the colors could be a little better. Like, again, there are improvements you can make here and there, but I think it's fine. I think the biggest thing is that it's not Sword and Shield style. And again, not necessarily the graphics of Sword and Shield, but the makeup of Sword and Shield running on the same engine, in that, you know, you're a full-on trainer walking through a full-on world, and the whole region has been recreated in this 3D environment for modern games, right? Again, the big thing is that they're maintaining the scale of Diamond and Pearl in these 3D games. And that makes a lot of things extremely confusing, I suppose, because if it were a remake in the vein of the remakes we've gotten forever, obviously this is where competitive battling would be continuing. Obviously Dynamax would be returning, because it would just need to if you're going to be still on the Gen 8 battle system. And there would just be a lot of other features that would kind of have to be added, again, you know, like the remakes that we've gotten in the past. But because these games are like this, that kind of throws everything out of whack. I think it's pretty obvious there are not going to be any Dynamax in these games, and, you know, it was something that had been discussed for a while, and that some people didn't necessarily want, and that it wouldn't make sense in the Sinnoh region, and I think that's fine. I think that works out. And especially, you know, there's going to be a lot of confusion of, like, how exactly are these games going to fit? Are these... Yes, okay, every game is main series, apparently, you know. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and even Legends Arceus are main series games. But of course not in the traditional sense. Pokemon has always said that they like doing the unexpected, as we've seen with in the past, just with trying to predict what games come next after the next generation, or at least the first games. of a new generation. But overall, I kind of like this idea of trying something different. Now, if these games presented as they are were the only things that were announced, obviously there would be a lot more of a mess going on, but the fact that they introduced these alongside Legends Arceus makes it clear that they're trying to do two different things, because they decided to take a step back toward tradition with Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, but also wanted to take a step forward into something new with Legends Arceus, just in terms of, you know, the free moving camera and the concept on top of that. And having two of these games alongside each other, I think is actually kind of a good choice, because rather than just getting, you know, the same Pokemon game over, you are getting a game that's basically an older game, but it's not the be-all end-all. It's not the big game. We're also getting another big game. So having all of this work together for the Sinnoh generation or Sinnoh remake generation, I think that works a little better. But of course, another interesting thought that I had is maybe these games are so extremely faithful, you know, rather than being a remake, they seem a lot more like a remaster. Maybe it's because we just don't have Virtual Console. Now, of course, we did get Red and Blue and Yellow on Virtual Console, and then of course Gold, Silver, and Crystal on Virtual Console, but we didn't get the third generation games, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, just because the Switch has no Virtual Console. And it would be up to the individual developers, it would be up to Game Freak to put it on the Switch eShop voluntarily, but it seems like this is just what they're doing. And it's kind of in a similar vein to the games that we got last year with the Rescue Team games, you know, having that and remaking it onto the Switch, rather than having it be on a sort of Virtual Console. And if this is where we're going, if we're going to be getting remasters of games like this rather than Virtual Console, is that the right step to go? Because I would definitely assume that might be what's going to happen for, say, some other games, maybe some other spin-off games, maybe just remakes, or at least, you know, revisiting generations in the future. And, you know, that's a long time to think. But is this what we're going to be seeing instead of ports, instead of Virtual Console? Are we going to be seeing full-on remasters like this? And I don't want to say that these are definitively remasters. They could be remakes. There's just a lot that we don't know about Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl in terms of what the story is going to include. But I think that seeing this graphical style is a hint for what it could possibly be. And again, I don't think that this is a bad graphical style. It's just what we've been seeing in Pokemon forever up until Generation 7, which started making the overworld a little more bigger, a little more detailed. And again, I personally am fine with it, as long as we get Legends Arceus. And again, I personally am fine with it. I think it's fine. I don't hate it, but I'm not extremely excited for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Legends Arceus is where it's at for me. But anyway, let me know what you think. Do you like the idea of Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl? I guess mostly graphically, we're going to talk about that. And I think that when you look at it in terms of the graphics, it kind of could spell out what we're going to be seeing for Pokemon games in the future, potentially. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like how it looks? Again, I think it's fine, because we're getting two different styles. But it might have been interesting to see it in the style of Sword and Shield. But then again, you know, does Sword and Shield even look good? I think these look good, because, you know, they're not trying to do anything too crazy with their style, with their graphics. They're keeping things simple, they're keeping things focused. And something else I wanted to mention. There's always the discussion of, oh, well, the game's not out yet, so don't judge how it looks. With Pokemon, it kind of always looks how it does in the final product in the first trailers, for the most part. There's maybe one time with X and Y where they changed up one of the routes, I think, from the very first trailer. But for the most part, these are how the games are going to look. Unless they release another trailer, say in a few months, where they just kind of, things are very obviously revamped, then we can say, oh yeah, sure, now it's going to have, say, outlines or whatever. But for the most part, this is how the games are going to look, and I'm fine with that. But again, you know, I'm the shill for Pokemon, or I can't see what's in front of me, or I'm blind to this and that. Like, I just personally can't get mad at Pokemon. Like, it's not worth it. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like the graphical style? Do you not? Of course, if you don't like it, hey, I understand. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle. Maybe leaning more toward like it. But I definitely am excited for Pokemon games just in general. There's going to be some fun adventures. And as far as other discussions that we'll be having about these games, stick around for those. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to show your support. And if you'd like to see more, I guess, unscripted videos just about topics like this, let me know what you think. Things that aren't necessarily too big and just more recent stuff. Let me know if you'd like to see more of that. If you enjoyed everything, you can also subscribe to make sure you see each new video as it comes out, and click that bell icon next to the subscribe button. I'll make sure you see each new video as it comes out. Anyway, this has been GatorX. Have a nice day.